Ready to go deep on this one. Palliative care social work. We're unpacking it all today using RoleCatcher's insights. Their guides, those resources. This career path, it's definitely different.
Different, yeah. And honestly, it's a tough one to ignore, it kind of gets to you.
It does. It really does. So we should probably start with what they actually do. Palliative care social workers.
Yeah.
It's about being there for patients and their families, right? When things are really, really hard.
It's a lot, actually. Emotional support's a big part, but also practical help. They become like advocates, making sure those patients get what they need. Imagine helping a family sort through medical options, making sure their loved ones' wishes are honored. That end-of-life stuff, it's heavy. But these folks bring this sense of, I don't know, making it about living, even then. Quality of life, even when things are rough.
Being that strong person in the middle of all that, that takes something special. And RoleCatcher, they don't sugarcoat it. This isn't just any job, right? You need some serious empathy, some real resilience to do well here.
Oh, absolutely. And burnout, it's a real thing. RoleCatcher talks about that. You're dealing with suffering, with grief, day in and day out. Plus, the healthcare system itself can be a beast.
Right. And if you're running on fumes, you can't be there for others. So self-care, it takes on a whole new meaning here, huh?
No kidding. Not just bubble baths, right? We're talking boundaries. Having people who get it. Knowing how to handle that compassion fatigue.
For those who don't know, compassion fatigue, it's that exhaustion you get from caring so much for so long. Can really do a number on you if you're not careful.
Truth. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. Hard.
Yep.
Yes. Rewarding. Also, yes. Like, really rewarding.
Give me an example. What makes those hard days worth it?
Being that steady presence for a family in crisis. Guiding them through impossible choices. Being their voice when they need it most. Knowing you made even a small difference. It's huge.
You can hear it, how much that means. So what's it really like? Day to day. RoleCatcher mentions hospitals, hospices, home care, lots of places. They even talk about how telemedicine's changing things.
Yeah, tech is everywhere now.
Yeah.
But no matter where you are, gotta be flexible. On call, weekends, life, and I guess death, they don't stick to a schedule.
Makes sense. What about skills? RoleCatcher really pushes active listening. Seems basic, but...
It's anything BUT basic here. You're listening to what's not said, too. Picking up on fear, on hope, on things people haven't even put into words yet.
Wow, it's like this whole other level of understanding, and that impacts everything else, I'd imagine.
Totally. Care plans, how you talk to the medical team, even knowing when to just be there. Silence can be powerful,
Yeah.
And the tough conversations, end-of-life wishes, all that needs a special kind of touch.
I can only imagine. How do you even prepare for that kind of emotional weight?
It's a process, for sure. Like, over time, you get it. Experience matters. Having people guide you, Mentors.
Yeah, definitely not textbook stuff.
Nope. And RoleCatcher talks about that, actually. How employers, they're looking for those.
Wow.
Those qualities you can't really teach. Empathy, cultural awareness, being able to handle those intense moments.
It's that human connection, even when things are falling apart.
Right. Which brings us to actually becoming a palliative care social worker. RoleCatcher's got that whole roadmap, education-wise. Usually it's a bachelor's or a master's in social work. That's your starting point.
Makes sense. Gotta have the basics.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think of it like building a house, right? Education, that's your foundation. Then certifications, those are like adding on, specializing.
I like that. So those certs, like Certified Hospice and Palliative Social Worker, the CHPSW, those help you move up.
Definitely an advantage, especially if you're serious about this specific area. Shows you're really committed, know your stuff.
Gotcha. So you've got the degree, you're working on those certs. What else? RoleCatcher mentions internships, volunteering. How important's that actual experience?
Important. It's everything. You can read all day, but nothing replaces being there with patients, families, learning from the pros while you're in it.
Like reading a cookbook versus running a restaurant. Totally different.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's cool. They help you find those internships, volunteer gigs, even near you. Their guides also have these tips from people who've been there, done that. Gives you a real feel for the day-to-day.
Okay, so you land that first job, you're getting experience. But it doesn't stop there, does it?
Not a chance. This field's always changing. New research, new ways of doing things. Tech's always a factor. You're constantly growing.
Got to be comfortable learning as you go then.
100%. It's part of what I love about it, actually. Always something new to figure out.
Keeps things interesting. Okay, career stages. RoleCatcher does this cool thing showing how your job changes over time.
They break it down. Entry-level, mid-level, senior, and then chief. Helps to visualize where you could go as you gain experience.
Okay, break it down for me, starting with entry level. What's that like?
So you're hands-on right there with patients, families, scheduling stuff, coordinating care, helping people navigate. Healthcare can be confusing.
You're like their guide through this tough terrain.
Exactly. And this stage matters. You're building those core skills that'll last your whole career.
Learning the ropes before you're in charge of the whole show.
Right. And RoleCatcher, they actually have these example profiles for each stage.
Yeah.
Really helpful to see yourself in those shoes.
That IS helpful, especially starting out, trying to figure out what's even possible.
So like that entry-level profile, it talks about needing compassion, working hard, being eager to learn. Essentials when you're new to this.
You're not expected to know everything yet, but you got to be willing.
Exactly. And then mid-level, things get more complex, more responsibility.
Let's talk about that. How do things shift when you hit mid-level?
You're doing more assessing, figuring out what patients need, developing those care plans, and advocating, making sure their rights are respected. You're more independent, but still part of a team.
So a mix, direct care, but also some leadership starting to come in.
Yep. You need strong assessment skills here, communication too, and knowing how to work with those interdisciplinary teams.
Interdisciplinary, meaning what exactly in this
Yeah.
case?
Good question. Palliative care. It's rarely just you. You've got doctors, nurses, therapists, chaplains. Everyone's bringing their expertise. It's about holistic care.
Supporting the whole person and the family with all these different angles.
Exactly. So yeah, communication's key, teamwork, all that.
Sounds both challenging and rewarding if everyone's on the same page.
You nailed it. It's both. But when it works, really powerful.
Okay, fast forwarding a bit, senior level. What takes you to that level? That expertise, leadership?
At that point, it's less about individual cases, more about how palliative care works. In your workplace, even bigger picture.
Wow, so impacting way more people.
Exactly. Supervising newer social workers, maybe creating policies, pushing for improvements, using what you've learned to make things better for everyone.
That's awesome. Someone who loves a one-on-one but also wants to make those big changes. This is their path.
For sure. And that example profile I mentioned. For senior level, it talks about loving to mentor others, understanding the ethics of palliative care deeply, and navigating those healthcare systems to make real change happen.
It's both. The ground level experience, the vision for something better.
Exactly. And then the top, Chief Palliative Care Social Worker.
Okay, now we're talking leadership. What's involved there?
Running the whole department, setting the goals, managing money, building those relationships with everyone involved, big picture stuff.
That's intense. You'd need to know the clinical side, be a leader, and understand the business part.
Yep. But maybe most importantly, you're dedicated to palliative care itself, making it the best it can be for everyone.
It's inspiring. Knowing there's a way to climb that ladder, make a difference at every step.
And that's what's cool about RoleCatcher. They don't just tell you about it. They give you the tools to get there.
Let's talk about that, because people are listening thinking, this sounds amazing, but how do I actually do it?
That's where their platform shines. They've got it all. CV and resume help, interview prep, even AI stuff to make your application perfect for each job.
Okay, unpack that for us. A lot to cover there.
Sure. So career guides, like the one we're talking about, they go deep. Salary info, skills needed, where you could end up.
So you can really see if it fits with your life, your goals.
Exactly. Once you've got an idea, their CV and resume builders help you make those things stand out. Show off your best stuff.
Super helpful. Got to impress in this job market, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And interview prep. Game changer.
Tell me more about that.
They've got over 120,000 interview questions, industries, positions, everything, including, obviously, palliative care social work.
120,000, that's a lot.
Yeah.
How do you even start with that?
They've got AI filtering. You can pick your industry, job title, how much experience you have, specific skills.
So it's not random. You're practicing for the exact jobs you want.
Yep. And they've got expert advice on answering, too. Example answers, how to structure your response.
Like having a coach right there with you.
And if you get their Copilot AI thing, it actually looks at job descriptions, tells you how to tweak your CV, resume, cover letter, all of it for each job.
Okay, that's wild. So RoleCatcher's not just information. It's like giving you a leg up on the competition.
Exactly. They empower you, help you make smart choices about your career.
How so?
Well, they're big on transferable skills. Stuff you learn in one job, that's useful in others, too. So even if you've never done palliative care, you've got skills from somewhere.
So you could switch careers, even. or move around within social work.
Totally. And they've got this feature, suggests other careers based on what you already know. Might find something you never even thought of.
That's cool, connecting those dots, your past to your future.
Yep. It's about knowing yourself, what you're good at, and then finding that career that lights you up.
So to sum up this part of our deep dive, we looked at those career stages, from brand new to leading the whole thing, and how RoleCatcher helps you along the way. Not just info, but the tools to actually make it happen.
And don't forget, the heart of it all. You need compassion, dedication to be great at this.
Absolutely. It's heavy stuff. So before we move on, let's just acknowledge that. It takes a toll, but the rewards are huge, helping people through such a tough time. It matters. It makes you think, you know? We always put tech and human connection at opposite ends, especially in a field like palliative care where it's so personal.
It's like text that cold, efficient thing, and human connection's all warm and fuzzy.
Right, but then RoleCatcher, they're showing how tech can actually help us be more compassionate, more organized, more knowledgeable, so we can do more good.
It's a tool, right? Like any tool, it's how you use it that matters.
100%. And speaking of impact, this deep dive, it's given a taste of what palliative care social work really is. The roles, the skills, how to get there, and how RoleCatcher can make it happen.
A lot to process. Now it's about you. What clicked with you? What felt important?
Not just the facts, but the feeling, too.
If something lit you up back there, don't ignore it.
Loved that. So what was it for you? Being that light for people when things are darkest. Speaking up for those who can't.
Or knowing you've eased someone's burden, even a little. Making a difference when facing the end, even.
Whatever it was, hang on to it. Go check out those RoleCatcher guides. Try those practice questions. Really picture yourself doing this work.
Because it's not just a job hunt, it's bigger. It's purpose.
It's taking your empathy, your skills, your desire to help, and making it your career.
And hey, you might surprise yourself. Palliative care social work, it's not just a job for some people, it's a calling.
There's no better feeling than finding work that truly lights you up. Work that aligns with what you believe in, lets you make a real difference.
So take that step. Look into it. See where this path leads.
The world needs more people like you. Compassionate, dedicated, willing to do this work.
And with the right help, with resources like RoleCatcher gives you, you can turn that passion into a truly amazing career, one that matters.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this. What mark do you want to leave on the world? How can you use what you've got, your skills, your heart, to bring comfort and support to those facing life's toughest moments?
The answers, my friend, they're within you. Get out there, find them, and go make a difference.